So let's go to the demo. And before going to the demo, I just wanted to share with you, because I will share later on to Ella, so Ella can share with you guys. I just made this page in Notion so we can have some references. So you can have some links on each one of the things that or the tools that I'm talking about. So the Power Platform CLI, how to use the Sparkle XRM to deploy things on the Power Platform solutions, what it is, the Sparkle XRM, some of the tools that Microsoft provided, the link for WhaleHandZ GitHub as well. And I just put it some few steps that we have in here. So we can kind of use these in our demo process, right? So first of all, we have these defined environments. So I have two environments in here in my demo. So I have one place where it is my dev environment. So this could be a separated tenant. I could have different environments in the same tenant. So it doesn't really matter when we are doing this process. It's fine if we have different environments in different tenants. Doesn't harm in any way. So if you have, for example, that demo environments that you can build in your organization from Microsoft, I think it's demo.microsoft.com, where you can create demo environments there. You can create a demo environment, use these as a dev environment or a test environment, and then you have your own production tenant without this trash or whatever. So first of all is to define our environment. So I have two environments. I have a dev environment that is this one, and I have a production environment that it is, where is it? Let me find in here. Here is my production environment. So I have this production environment. Sorry, this is in Portuguese. My production environment it's in Portuguese, but I'll translate to you. So this is environment. So I have this environment that will be our production. So I just have dev and production, right? Perfect. So I have my environments already there. Now let's create solutions. So instead of building things from here, just create an app, I would always create a solution. So let's see, demo SPC01. I'll just select a publisher. I'll create this. I already have one that it's running, just because sometimes the pipelines takes a while to run. So I'll just run one of the tests that I have already. So, okay, I have a solution now. And with this solution, we start building things. So I can start building. I can create a table. Let's wait a bit. Create a table. We'll call table 01. Right. Then we have important things that I will take afterwards, that it's kind of, okay, should we use managed solution, unmanaged solutions, these kind of things we can take afterwards. So I have a table, I can create a column here. So test column, perfect. Okay, awesome. Now I have a solution here. And yeah, I just start creating a solution. Perfect, I have a solution. So then when we are creating these solutions, we have one thing that it's important to think about is to define these responsibilities. So who should be able to, or who should create these solutions? Should it be something that the business users will create, or this will be an IT that will create? This is something that the process will create. This is something that you need to figure out depending on how advanced your scenario is, right? So define who should be able to create solutions, thinking that you are able to automate this process. So if you want, you can automate this process to make sure that creating solutions is something that it's part of the DevOps process, right? Who should ensure that the solution go through all environments? So who should push the button to say, okay, let's go from dev to production, from dev to test, from test to UAT, to UAT to production? You want it to be part of the process. So maybe part of the process will be to send an email to the users or for the owner of this application to say it's approved, you can go to production. It's something that the solution architect will do, something that the project manager will do. This is something that you need to decide, right? And also, who should validate it and ensure quality? Because you are moving things from dev test, UAT, maybe you can find some things and you need to go back. These kind of things, you need to define these responsibilities before implementing your process, right? Unit tests and integration tests depends on your process as well. Use managed and unmanaged solution. This is an important topic. Here in my environment, and we don't have a right and wrong, right, on these things. But basically, in my environment, I have a dev environment where my solution is unmanaged, which means that I can change it from here. But in my production environment, when I move the solution from here to there, I don't want no one to change things directly there. So I want it to be managed. So this is one other thing that the process can make sure that we don't move things that are managed to production if we don't want to, because we don't want people to change things directly in production, right? So this is an important topic as well. So if you see my other solution that I have here, this demo solution ASPC, this is unmanaged. But if I go to my production environment, I can show you that I have already this demo solution ASPC here because I ran the automation, but here is managed. So I can't change anything from here, right? So this is a good thing to think about it. So this is something that you need to decide. I have an advanced scenario that I've worked with my colleagues that we had multiple environments. So we had dev, we had build, we had test, and we had production. And all of them were more like managed solution because we didn't want them to change anywhere. We create one solution per package that we need to work with. So I need to work with something. I create a solution for it. I work on this solution specifically. Then I merge this solution to an original solution where it is managed as well. So I'm making sure that the process is ensuring the quality because I'm not able to change things directly in the original or the source solution, let's say. So this is something that you need to consider and to think when you are developing things, right? Perfect. So let's go then to the Azure DevOps now. So I have here two places that I need to do. One is here that I need to open DevOps. I have open already. So when we are creating pipelines, I have two pipelines of with examples here that I can show you, and we can create one from scratch. One is using the Power Platform build tools, the ALM build tools from Microsoft, and one is using the Whale Hamzy tools. This is a pretty simple pipeline. This pipeline will just get one thing from one environment and moving to the other. So I have these three actions when we have this pipeline. So this pipeline is just exporting a solution from somewhere and importing a solution somewhere. That's it. I'm just automating the first thing that we have. So we have the manual process. The manual process is someone goes to the solution, export, download the zip file, go to the other environment, upload the zip file, and click to update or upgrade depending on your scenario. So instead of doing it, we want it to be automatic. So for that, we have some tools. And this is the first example. And why I used the Power Platform build tools and also the Whale Hamzy build tools, because we have some differences between them. They do the same thing, but sometimes Microsoft ones, it's not that good or that fast as supposed to. So I used sometimes the Whale Hamzy one because I think it's faster. One important thing when we are creating these things, we have a lot of tools, so I can show you here. If I start typing Power Platform, I can see all of the tools that are available for me. So we have all of these tools that were created by Microsoft. So I can create an environment, copy an environment, I can import a solution, I can change the solution version, I can deploy a package, run the Power Platform checker. So if someone do some changes in the Power Apps, Canvas app, or Power Automate, we can use the Power Platform checker to check if something is wrong. We can restore environment, reset environment. So we have a bunch of tasks that are already there for us. So I don't need to be like concerned about how to do things. I just need to use the right tool for it. And we also have the Power DevOps, that is the Whale Hamzy ones. So we have these Power DevOps tools. So if you do like import, let's say solution, we can see here, this one is the Power DevOps, is the one from Whale Hamzy. And this is more because he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's a Dynamics guy. So he did a lot of things for Dynamics. So if you have more advanced scenarios where you are not using just small things or simple things from Dataverse or from Power Apps and flows, if you are using plugins and things, web resources, things like that, you have more advanced things. So you have some other things that you can use from him, right? So this is a good way to do it. So in this example that I will do is just to have a simple pipeline that gets a solution from one place to the other. So I'll just start running this so we can have it running. So here I can see the demo solution at SPC. We have a testing table. I will just create another table in this other solution in my dev environment, and I'll run, and we will create one from scratch, right? So I will just create a new table, test 01. Let's wait for a bit. Okay, so the table is here. So then I will go here and then I'll queue this pipeline with the Power Platform solution. So let's wait a bit. And while it's running, we will create one from scratch. So when you are creating a pipeline, now we have the YAML files that you can use. This is a pretty good thing if you are templating your pipelines, but let's use the classic editor just because it's easier or faster. I have a repository. If you want, you can use also the repositories to handle the files. So if I download the solution, I can store the solution inside the repositories and things like that. In this example, I will not use it. It will be a pretty simple one. So I can click on continue. I can just create an empty job. And then I can start adding some actions. So if I will use the Power Platform tool, I need to use the installer, and later on I can do the import or the export first, right? And the import. And the important part of it, because it's just tests, right? It's not complicated at all. But one important thing is that you need to think about security, how you want it to handle it. if you wanted to handle by using username and password, or if you want to use service principal or client ID and client secret. One doesn't support MFA. This is important. Username and password doesn't support MFA. And if you want to support MFA, and also because this is more best practice, you can use the service principal and client. Okay. So just to show you how you can do it, we can go to Azure. And I can go also to these service connections. And on Azure, I can go to this is, let me see in English how it is. Let me open the other environment. Sometimes I just don't remember how it is, so I can show you better. So we can have the app registration. So we can have an app. So I can have in here an app that has a permission to impersonate the access to Dynamic CRM. This is the connector that uses Dataverse. So if I have this permission, I can use the app client ID and client secret to connect to the environment. So instead of using username and password, I can use this client ID and secret to make sure that I can have access. So instead of doing something on behalf of Douglas, I'm doing something on behalf of this application. So this is something that you need to consider, and it's something that was in our notes here. So define and secure your process. You need to create an Azure AD app and assign the permissions. You need to give the permissions like this. You add permission, go to Dynamic CRM, impersonation, and then you give this access. And also you need to do a permission for this application into the Azure. So we make sure that this application has access to write inside the solutions and things like that in that specific environment. So this is one thing that you need to consider when we are talking about security and governance, because we are not doing things on behalf of users. We are just doing things on behalf of applications, right? So yeah, we can get this ID and secret. And then with the ID and secret here, you have these service connections. And I just wanted to share with you that we have two ways of doing it. We have this generic, and we have another one that is this Power Platform. This Power Platform one, it's more used when you are using the Power Platform build tools. And the generic one is when you are using different solutions or different tooling. So the Whale Hamzy one, we'll use the generic. So if I go to Power Platform and create next, I need to put the server URL, tenant ID, application secret. So it's easy like that. I just need to find out the information from the application. So if I go to the application, I can get the application ID, I can get the tenant ID, and the secret I can generate one. And we get this information and share and create this service connection. And once we have the service connection, we can just select which service connection I want to use. So I'm exporting from the dev environment. So I have a service connection that is connecting to the dev environment, another service connection that is connecting to the production environment. I can say which solution I'm using. So the new one that we just created, the name is Demo SPC 01. So we can go here and do it like that. You can always create variables and make sure that the process is getting this solution name from a repository or something like that. So you don't need to do manual as I'm doing. How it is the solution output file. So it will be a zip file. This is an important thing. Should we export as managed when we are exporting from dev to production? Should we export as managed? So we lock the solution or not? So these kind of things, you have some configuration, and I can show you if we use the Whale Hamzy, we have some more configurations that we can put. So we can export managed and unmanaged. If you are exporting like this and you don't mark, it will be unmanaged. So this kind of thing you just need to figure out when you are selecting which tool you use, okay? So it's basically like that. So you just need to find out which configuration will fit more with your scenario. And then you can create more actions here. So in this example, I'm just using these tests because I'm just exporting a solution from one place and importing in another place. So if I go to the pipelines, let's see if the one run. It ran. So I can show you it's exporting. So exported the solution from one place. So from the demo dev Douglas 01 crm.dynamics.com and imported it in the other place that it's my environment called Romao's Tech. So if I go to my production environment now, then I go back here, then I go demo solution ASPC. We have now the table test 01. See? So we moved the new version of the solution from dev to production, and the things that we had in that solution were moved across, right? So this is a pretty simple one, I know. We didn't have changed the version of the package. We didn't have a huge process, but I can show you quickly before we end up some of the solution. And sorry, I'm worst drawing. I'm just bad, but we can have a pretty huge or heavily used scenario or more advanced scenario where we have different branches where pro developers and citizen developers are working. When they finish their work, we merge into a dev branch in the DevOps. So we have first the tasks there. The tasks are connected to solutions. Once we worked in everything that we want to, we merge these solutions into one dev branch. And this is exported from dev, move it to test when it's ready. The people test, we export a managed solution, increase the version, and deploy to production. So this is a more advanced scenario where we have approval process, we have PowerShell scripts to change versioning, we have solutions that are getting the data from one place, saving the repository in the DevOps, and we can do a lot of things. So it depends on how advanced do you want to be, or you will be. These will be the tools that you want to use. So yeah, we don't have that much time. That's why I just put this simple example here. But of course, we can discuss more advanced scenarios if you guys want later on. So yes, this is the demo that I had. I think I'll just leave some minutes so we can have some questions because I saw that we have something on the chat. Anyways, just to conclude my presentation itself, thank you for your time. I hope that this was good for you. And yeah,